Dollywood is arguably one of the most immersive theme parks out there, and just over 2 months ago, I got the chance to experience the park for my first time, and I have to say that I've definitely got quite an unusual opinion. However, today I'm going to be reviewing Dollywood. Located in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, United States, this park is surrounded by one of the most beautiful settings, and after that both videos and also photos don't do it justice, as just standing there in person is just surreal, but along with the park's beautiful setting also comes with a very unique layout, and the reason why I say this is due to being located on a hill, and just like most parks, they definitely use this to their advantage, and after that the coasters are probably the best example of this, but in terms of the park's closest city, as I briefly mentioned, Dollywood is located within Pigeon Forge, and even though I didn't get to see much of it, it's definitely somewhere I'd like to head back to, but if we go to the park itself, Dollywood currently holds a total of 9 operational roller coasters, with in my opinion the best of which being Lightning Rod. Making its debut back in 2016, this RMC Top Track coaster is arguably one of the best on the planet, and after that it definitely doesn't disappoint. This is due to offering a fun launch along with 4 consecutive airtime hills, and for any of you who have ridden this before, you'll know that it's literally insane. However, the only downside of Lightning Rod were the turns, and the reason why I say this is due to them not really giving any airtime, but if you put this aside, it still makes it one of the best roller coasters on the planet. A more underrated coaster to the park is Thunderhead, and after that, even though I thought it would be good, I just wasn't expecting for it to be world class. However, after multiple different rides and various different rows, I think it's safe to say that it's definitely a top tier wooden coaster, and unlike most wooden coasters, it was actually really smooth. Along with this, it also offered a great first drop and even some strong airtime. Overall, it's a fun coaster and it's definitely a must do. Next up is Mystery Mine, and just like most Go-style Eurofighters, this definitely wasn't the smoothest coaster. However, if you put this aside, it's still a great ride. This is due to offering some great theming along with even a nice indoor station. However, once you make your way outdoors, you'll realise that the coaster also offers some decent airtime. As much as it was still fun, what made this coaster so great was the ending, as after you head down the final drop, you'll then rise up into its 2 inversions, and I have to say that these actually gave some really good hang time. Right next door to Mystery Mine is Wild Eagle, and despite having quite a unique setting, it actually made for some really good views. Along with this, also with a smooth layout and even some nice inversions, and I have to say that it's definitely one of the better pace being and wing coasters. Overall, it's a fun ride and it's definitely something to experience. One of the park's older coasters is Tennessee Tornado, and due to this coaster opening back in 1999, I wasn't really expecting for it to be that great. However, I have to say that after my one ride, I actually really enjoyed it. This is due to offering a great first drop, which I have to say gives some great airtime towards the back of the train, along with this also for some nice inversions and even some fun turns. However, what surprised me the most about this coaster was how intense it was. As much as it wasn't extremely intense, you could definitely feel it. Another fun roller coaster is Dragonfly, and I have to say this is definitely one of the more extreme family coasters. The reason why I say this is due to its banking. However, besides this, the coaster also offers some fun turns and even some weak airtime. Overall, it's a fun ride and it's definitely great for the families. Another family coaster at the park is Whistlepunk Chaser, and as much as it's probably the weakest coaster at the park, it was still quite a fun ride. This is due to offering some decent turns along with even some nice theming. Something that's point out is that you always get some nice views over Thunderhead. Probably the most unique coaster at the park is Blazing Fury, and the reason why I say this is due to it basically being a dark ride, and I have to say that even though it's a classic, I didn't actually find it to be that great. However, even though I got to experience 8 of the park's coasters, there was one more I visited which I didn't get to experience, and that was of course Fire Chaser Express. And as much as it still looked like a really fun ride, it didn't really bother me as much as some of the park's other coasters. However, even though Dollywood has a great selection of coasters, the park does also offer some non-coasters, and on my visit I did actually get to experience a couple of them, with the first of which being Daredevil Falls, and I have to say that it's actually quite a fun ride. This is due to offering a great drop along with even some nice theming. Something else to point out was that you actually get quite wet. Another fun ride at the park is the Dollywood Express, and just like most trains, it gives you some great views over the park along with the surrounding area. But if you want to shows and entertainment, Dollywood do also offer various different character interactions and even some shows. As much as they look great, I unfortunately didn't get to experience any of it. But in terms of where to eat, on my visit we decided to eat in the Grist Mill, and now I say that even though it camelled out some long lines, the cinnamon bread was more than worth it. Another thing to point out were the staff members, and before I start to talk about this, I just wanted to quickly point out that this doesn't apply to everyone, and the reason why I say this is due to most of the staff members actually being really friendly, but on my visit there were some staff members which weren't actually that great, and as much as this only happened a few times, I felt like it really lowered my opinion on the park. However, as I briefly mentioned, Dollywood has some of the best theming out there, and even though it may not be on the level of a Disney or Universal park, it was still really good. However, what's my overall opinion on Dollywood? In my opinion, this is definitely a solid theme park. This is due to offering a great coaster collection along with a beautiful setting. As much as there's definitely room for improvement, I would still recommend a visit. However, what is your opinion on Dollywood? Make sure to leave any thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next one.